The Great Pyramid of Giza is built from roughly 2.3 million individual stone blocks. Some of those blocks weigh as much as 80 tons, heavier than a fully loaded truck. It was built over 4,500 years ago, with no cranes, no trucks, and no modern machinery at all. For centuries, this genuinely puzzled historians, and it opened the door to some pretty wild theories. Yes, including aliens. That theory has been floated seriously, more than once, in popular culture. The real answer doesn't need aliens at all. It needs something arguably even more impressive: raw human ingenuity. And thanks to some genuinely incredible recent discoveries, we understand this story better than ever before. Let's get into it. Let's start by appreciating just how enormous this project actually was. The Great Pyramid stands about 481 feet tall, roughly the height of a modern 40-story building. It was built for the pharaoh Khufu and remained the tallest human-made structure on Earth for thousands of years. Most estimates suggest the entire project took around 20 years to complete. That means an enormous amount of stone had to be quarried, transported, and precisely placed year after year. Let's address a major myth right away. The pyramids were not built by enslaved people. Archaeologists discovered an entire dedicated workers' village near the Giza pyramids, changing this picture completely. This wasn't a temporary labor camp. It was a real, permanent town, complete with bakeries and housing. Evidence suggests these were skilled, respected workers, likely fulfilling a rotating labor obligation similar to a tax. Many were even given proper burials near the pyramids themselves, a mark of genuine social respect. Modern estimates suggest a core workforce of around 10,000 people at any given time. That's notably smaller than the 100,000 figure claimed centuries later by the Greek historian Herodotus. In 2013, archaeologists made a genuinely stunning discovery that transformed our understanding of daily life on site. At a site called Wadi el-Jarf, they found the oldest inscribed papyrus documents ever discovered. These 4,500-year-old records detailed the actual daily activities of pyramid workers. They described how stones were moved into place, and even how food was distributed among the workforce. It's an extraordinary, direct window into the actual logistics behind this massive ancient project. The workers' village excavation also revealed a lot about daily life on site. Archaeologists found evidence of large-scale bakeries and breweries operating right on site. Bread and beer were dietary staples, and were also commonly used as a form of worker payment. Animal bones found at the site show workers also regularly ate meat, including cattle, sheep, and goats. That's a notably solid diet, especially for people performing physically demanding labor every single day. It paints a picture of organized, sustained logistics, not a desperate or poorly managed operation. Now let's talk about the stone itself, starting with where most of it actually came from. Most of the pyramid's core material was limestone, quarried relatively close to the construction site itself. Workers used copper tools and wooden wedges to carefully cut and separate these enormous blocks from the bedrock. Sledges were then used to drag the freed blocks across the desert toward the construction site. But not all the stone was so conveniently located. Some presented a much bigger transportation challenge. The interior chambers required granite, and the nearest granite quarry was in Aswan, about 500 miles south. Some of these granite beams weighed between 25 and 80 tons each, genuinely enormous cargo. Moving that kind of weight 500 miles over land would have been nearly impossible using the technology available. So the Egyptians used the one resource perfectly suited for the job, the Nile River itself. This river theory recently received genuinely remarkable new supporting evidence. In 2024, researchers confirmed something long suspected. A major branch of the Nile once ran directly along the Giza Plateau. That means boats could likely deliver massive stone blocks almost directly to the base of the construction site itself. This discovery helps explain how such enormous loads could realistically travel that impressive distance. Major deliveries of stone likely arrived during the Nile's annual flood season, when water levels rose significantly. Once stone arrived at the site, there was still one more massive challenge: actually lifting it upward. Most experts agree some kind of ramp system was almost certainly involved in the construction process. But a single, Simple straight ramp running up one side creates a serious mathematical problem. To reach the very top at a safe, usable slope, a straight ramp would need to be roughly a mile long. Building a ramp that massive would have required nearly as much material and labor as the pyramid itself. That's why most researchers believe a more complex, space-efficient ramp system was actually used instead. In 2018, archaeologists uncovered something that offered a genuinely valuable clue towards solving this puzzle. At an alabaster quarry called Hatnub, they discovered a surprisingly sophisticated ramp system with staircases on either side. Wooden posts were positioned along the ramp, allowing sleds to be pulled upward at genuinely steep angles. This system let ancient workers haul heavy stone up slopes far steeper than a simple ramp would normally allow. To be fair, this specific ramp moved alabaster, not the granite used at Giza, so it's a valuable clue, not final proof. Still, it strongly suggests Egyptian engineers had genuinely sophisticated ramp techniques available to them. One particularly compelling theory suggests an internal spiral ramp built directly within the pyramid's own structure. Architect Jean-Pierre proposed this idea, combining a short external ramp with an internal spiral pathway higher up. Researchers later used a technique called microgravimetry to scan the pyramid's internal density without any digging. The scan revealed a spiral pattern of slightly less dense material, matching the predicted location of an internal ramp. A corner notch, useful for turning heavy sleds around tight bends, was also found exactly where the theory predicted. It's not fully proven, but it's a genuinely compelling piece of a still-developing puzzle. Beyond simply moving stone, the sheer precision of the final structure remains genuinely remarkable. The base of the Great Pyramid is nearly perfectly level, with only a tiny fraction of an inch of variation. Its sides are also closely aligned with true north, south, east, and west with impressive accuracy. Achieving this without modern surveying equipment required genuinely advanced observational and mathematical skill. This precision is part of why the pyramids still capture so much fascination and respect today. Quick pause before we continue. Take a guess. Do you think archaeologists have found one single, universally agreed-upon answer for exactly how the ramps worked? Not quite. Several strong theories exist, each supported by real evidence, but the exact full picture is still being refined. Ongoing archaeology and new scanning technology continue to add valuable new pieces to this puzzle. Let's clear up a few common myths before we wrap up. Myth 1. The pyramids were built by enslaved people forced into brutal labor. Not accurate, based on current evidence. Workers appear to have been paid, respected, and properly buried. Myth 2. Aliens or other advanced outside civilizations were genuinely involved in construction, not supported by any real evidence. Archaeology consistently points to skilled human engineering and organization. Myth 3. Scientists have zero real evidence about how the heavy stones were actually lifted upward. Not true. Discoveries like the Hatnub ramp provide genuine, physical evidence supporting realistic construction methods. Myth 4. Every single stone was hauled entirely over land, using only manual sledges the whole way. Not accurate. River transport along the Nile played a major, now well-supported role for the heaviest stones. Myth 5. The pyramid builders had no real understanding of precise mathematics or engineering. Not accurate. The pyramid's precise alignment and leveling demonstrate genuinely advanced practical mathematical skill. Myth 6. Workers survived on minimal food while performing extremely demanding physical labor. Not accurate. Evidence shows a solid diet including bread, beer, and regular meat, supporting sustained daily labor. Let's wrap up with a few fun extra facts. The mortar used in the pyramid is still chemically changing today, even after 4,500 years. Researchers have found it contains microscopic gypsum crystals still slowly transforming within the structure. The Great Pyramid remained the tallest human-made structure on Earth for roughly 3,800 years. Modern satellite imagery and scanning technology continue to reveal previously unknown chambers and passageways. Every new discovery adds another genuine piece to this still unfolding 4,000-year-old story. Okay, let's bring this all together. The pyramids were built by skilled, organized, and reasonably well-treated workers, not enslaved laborers. Local limestone was quarried nearby, while heavier granite traveled 500 miles via the Nile River itself. A recently confirmed lost branch of the Nile helps explain how boats could deliver stone so close to the site. Sophisticated ramp systems, supported by real archaeological discoveries, likely helped move stone upward efficiently. The exact full construction method still isn't completely settled, and that's honestly part of what makes it fascinating. All from one ancient project that still quietly amazes people 4,500 years later. If this answered a question you never knew you had, that's exactly what this channel is about. So if you enjoyed this, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. It genuinely helps this channel grow, and it takes about 2 seconds. Drop a comment and tell me which part surprised you the most. Was it the ancient papyri? The lost branch of the Nile? Let me know. And if you like this video, go ahead and tap that like button. It's a small click that genuinely helps this channel keep growing. There are hundreds of everyday questions just like this one waiting to be explored. Stories about human history you've never actually stopped to question. That's what this channel is all about. Toggling your curiosity on, one question at a time. One more thing before you go. Tap that notification bell too, so you actually see it when the next video drops. Next time, we're tackling why flamingos stand on one leg for hours without falling over. It's a surprisingly clever energy-saving trick, and you will not guess the mechanism. I'll see you in the next one.